I'm just going to do some more drawing on Avenger. I'm going to probably use the bolted connections to put some bolts in here. There we go. So that's bolted in. Make it a bit more useful. What I want to do next is I want to put in a battery divider. So just a 3mm plate down the side and around the back. Put some foam in between just to lock the battery in. And what I was thinking, because we've got a 7mm gap in there, that's actually rather useful. Because I could probably use 10mm foam or 8mm foam that's compressed a bit under the battery. So we can put foam on both sides, front and back, fill out the front between the front plate and the battery with foam, and then just have a welded steel plate around the sides of the battery to hold that in place, and then the power switch compressed down on the top of the battery and hold it in. So I'm going to draw that. Go back to the skeleton. And what I've originally done here is I haven't actually drawn in the battery properly. So if I go to my layout sketch, there we go. This is the layout for the drive, and that's the battery in there, which isn't properly dimensioned in yet because I've just got this random 100mm there. So what I'm going to need to do is draw a get it positioned better. So I might make a new parameter with foam thickness in it. So if I go compressed foam thickness, so it's 7mm at the moment because that's what I've got in for the height above the battery, between the battery and the power switch. So if we put 7mm of foam below it and around each side, compressed of course, because you might use 8mm foam that gets compressed a millimeter, so that'll fit in nicely. And then this rectangle here is my battery. So if I dimension it from the plate, dimension there would be, because that line there is actually the inside of the plate. So we do primary thickness, plate thickness plus compressed foam thickness. So the battery's sitting in the right spot. And I should figure out how far it sits from the back of the robot. 90. So the battery sits 90mm from the back of the robot. And what I want to do now is put a plate in. So I want a plate that goes to the back and another plate around the side in that sort of area. Just make those construction lines. And the plate sits from here. Back plate sits a compressed foam thickness away from the battery, and the side plate sits compressed foam thickness. Those two construction lines are the insides of the battery divider plate. I'll finish that sketch. Now it looks like a pretty useless sketch that I just drew, but it's rather helpful, because what I'm going to do is now make another sketch purely for the side plate for the battery. I select my plane, so my XZ plane, which goes down the center. We create a new plane coming off that one, and then we select that plane to be parallel with the XY and on the point, this corner point here, which is the inside So no matter where I move my battery now, that plane will follow the battery divider plate. Just make that plane invisible. It's still there, and I'll just rename it in the term trees. WP for work. Oh, I should have selected first. There, WP for work plane. All my work planes start with WP. It just makes it easier to search through. So WP inside battery. What do they call this? Battery plate side. We'll have a side and the back. We'll create a new sketch on there. Section so we can see all those sketches. Now I probably should. Yeah, I've got to actually modify another sketch before that because I don't know how far forward that plate's going to come. Because I'd like that plate to come up and butt against the front armour. So in my base plate drawing, which actually has the line, that's where the front armour is. So I'm going to project that line across. So that's the inside plate. I need to know where the outside of the plate is going to meet up. Because if I just meet the inside of the plate up against there, it's going to overlap. So I'm going to draw another construction line coming out to perpendicular to the inside wall and then coming up and meeting the front armour. And if I make that thickness to be the secondary plate thickness, the 3mm plate. Oh, it didn't go perpendicular. Oh. Got a perpendicular constraint. Right. So this point here is actually the front of the plate that I'm going to put in. I'm going to turn that sketch off. Go back to this sketch I was almost about to start creating before. I'll just name it inside battery. I'll just name it battery plate side. Edit sketch. There we go, back to that sketch. Section to get rid of all the useless stuff that's in the way. I'll rotate around just so I can see a bit. And there we go, that's where we're going to draw. Probably just realised I haven't actually imported the dimensions of the battery, so I'm just going to link those in. No, I've just drawn in that plate, so that's my little battery divider plate, battery support plate, battery something plate. Now I can actually create that. So hit update and save. Go to new part, create new part. It's a derived component. There's my Avenger folder. We scroll down to where's the skeleton. I'll actually name my part number. I've given my robots part numbers now. So Avenger is actually called FO609, which is featherweight number 6 revision 9. Kind of helps me sort through all my models because I make millions of robot models. Anyway, we'll derive off that skeleton. I'll select the sketch I just made, the battery plate side, and the secondary plate parameter. Okay, so there's my sketch. We'll extrude off that. See, I've done a bit of lightning on this thing, so you've got to extrude that direction. Select the secondary plate for the thickness. Done. So that's what that side plate look like. I'll just change the material and the colour of it. Okay, there's the finished product. Now I'll open up my welded frame and we'll copy this part into it. Copy, paste, change the occurrence in eye properties. So under the occurrence tab we have the offset, current offset from origin. We'll change all those to 0. So it will now be sitting on the 000 point and we'll ground it to that location. So now that frame is sitting in the correct spot relative to everything else. Right, there it is, finished. So that's the little battery divider welded into there. And we'll go back to the main assembly and see what it looks like. There it is. There's actually not much room between the speed controllers and the divider plate. In fact, that might make it a bit impossible to put the speed controllers into the robot. I might actually need to make my robot wider to get those to fit. Extra 80 overall height plus secondary plate thickness because for the plate, plus we'll put some clearance in there, probably 20mm clearance. And there we go, the robot's actually gone wider. Finish sketch. All the sketches move that side out further. Hit up, save. Go back to the main model. Update. And the robot's wider. There we go, now we've got a bit more room in there. Maybe a bit too much, but I don't know. It looks okay. But somehow I've got a feeling my robot's now overweight. Physical update. Current level of detail. Yeah, 13.7. Oh, we'll have to fix that later. What I might do is draw some foam. We'll worry about making the robot lighter tomorrow. It's sitting in there. It's sticking out like it's been compressed in there, just for a bit of fun. Now I should probably constrain my battery to it. Foamed in battery. And I'll do those other bits of foam, but I don't really need that on video. So I might turn the video off and draw my bits of foam by myself. And tomorrow we can try to strip another 500 grams out of this robot.